Virgo, hi, come on in. Great to see you. Just in time for your Virgo March 2020 reading. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, for those who haven't seen me before. Now, welcome back to my subscribers. It's always good to see you. Thank you very much for your interest and for your loyalty. And thank you also to those of you who have had one-on-one, face-to-face personal readings with me over FaceTime or Skype. Last month I mentioned that I was now taking those because I've set the time aside, and it's been great to meet you. You're now part of my family in a way, and if you yourself would like to have a one-on-one personal psychic reading, then which goes for an hour, then just check out the details in the description. But let me see now what there is in store for you, because I think there could be a good month coming up for you. Well, it's always a good month. One way or another, every day is a good day. Certainly when you consider the alternative. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the tarot and then some playing cards. Now, you might let me know in the comments as to whether you like the playing cards at the end of the tarot section, and I might use my pen to point out some of the salient features of this tarot deck, because these cards are beautifully illustrated and have some good detail in them, which helps me to evoke the messages and spirits from above. There is, or from beyond this space-time. There's the Seven of Cups. Now you'll see what I mean about the images when I show you that one. There's the Ace of Coins, beautiful Ace of Earth. Really, the Ace of Earth is what I call it. I'm not too hung up on whether the things are Wheel of Fortune, whether that's fire or water or earth, but they do actually interact with one another. The tarot cards, the suits do interact with one another, and it depends on whether they weaken each other or strengthen each other, or whether they're just neutral. But that will show up, and if there is a case where that's important in the particular reading, I will mention it there. But those cups and earth are very, very friendly. I'll say that up front. So that's good news for you. There's the Six of Coins. Very interesting stuff and imagery on this deck. That's why I'll get you to come round. There's the King of Wands. Now, I said I would use 3 playing cards, didn't I? And I'm a man of my word, so 3 we shall have. And let's see what they are. Well, there is the 9 of Hearts, which is good. What else is coming? You look like you're coming, whoever you may be. There's the Jack of Spades. And this thing will not go back in, so it says, take me out. And there is the 4 of Hearts. Okay, I think you're going to appreciate this and enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. So why don't we get together, come down and have a look at these cards, and let's get the show on the road. All right, Virgo, now let me get the vibe. I think we will start with this first card here, which is the 7 of Cups. Now, the 7 has associated with it, for me, mystically, the planet of Venus. Venus, which is about love and emotion, sometimes about excess. Now, here we have a woman who is asleep in a chair, and I think these things around here, I think they represent her dreams. Here is a bottle, imperfectly sealed, which is containing, well, I'd say spirituous liquor. Here is a china cup with a picture of this woman in her old age with her lover. Here is a hookah. A hookah, contrary to popular understanding, is also a device which is used for smoking opium, and it is melting at the base. Here, I think this silver cup, really, to me, this is, I think, her passive dreams, I think, represented here. Here is a golden cup in the shape of a lotus. Here is a cup of clouds. And this is a china cup in the Etruscan style, which is actually a representation of the woman herself. and it has contained within it water, which is the only cup not to be spilling the water, you might notice. Well, astrologically, I have Venus in the third decan of Scorpio. Now remember, I also have Venus in the number 7 here as well. Venus is the planet of love, and Scorpio is all about intensity, in-depth transformation, and exploration of the self and others. Venus is really doesn't have any brakes applied to her in this situation, because Venus is also ruling the card independently of the astrology, and Venus is in detriment in Scorpio in ordinary astrology, and so it can't express its sensitivity and emotions properly. Instead, they can get channeled into negative addictions and intensity, which is the darker side of Scorpio. It implies that you can probably or may indulge in excess reactive behavior due to something that has affected you deeply and changed you in a way which throws up its own set of problems. This is really let me pull out a bit here so you can see the card in the context of the other cards that are there. This is really representing, I think, the working of Venus in the sphere of the mind, where her influence is by no means clear-sightedness. We believe what we want to believe when we are under the influence of Venus. Now, there's something further which I can add to this as well. I mentioned it can result in indulging in addictive behavior, but it can also result in the engagement in addictive emotions, which don't really represent our highest good, if I can put it that way, such as overeating, overdrinking, promiscuity, drugs. Not that I'm suggesting that you be promiscuous at all, but it can also indicate negative thoughts or depression which are self-medicated by excesses. Do you know what I mean? You know how simple it is, how easy it is if you're feeling down about something to say, I'm going to go and eat some cookies, I'm going to eat some ice cream, and it ends up being a tub of ice cream. Or, look, I'll just have a few glasses of wine, and it ends up being a bottle or two. So these negative patterns of behavior can relate to alcohol or drugs sometimes, diet, and even to sex, really. And it calls you to maybe recognize that you could just for a moment have lost control over your circumstances, and that this may be producing damaging lifestyle choices, and that you need to get back to who you are. But you will do. You will recognize those things that you are troubled by and regain your personal power. I would actually ask myself this question. Well, actually, rather than a question, forget the question, because this is a card, I think, which is a time for you to make a statement to yourself, and it is this: as I recognize and accept my shadows, they lose their powers. So let's see what we have here. Now, we have such great things happening. Let's have a look at this central card, which is the Wheel of Fortune. Let's have a close look at the Wheel of Fortune. Well, here we have a golden Wheel of Fortune. On it are inscribed the various zodiac signs. Behind her, behind the wheel, stands Lady Justice, I suppose, who is blindfolded. Now, her red wings and her hands, they touch this wheel in 7 places, and that represents the 7 classical planets of astrology. That is, those planets that we all knew and loved before, in astrology, before the discovery of the transpersonal planets such as Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. On top of the wheel, the ruler of the wheel, is a figure that holds a phoenix, which is about resurrection and rising up from the ashes in one hand, and a sword in the other. This blue circle at the end behind the woman, to me, represents individual life. This green sea down here represents life in general, which the individual life can be thrust into. At the bottom of this wheel and its base, there are two ships which have twisted snakes' heads as their mascots. Here is a blue figure climbing up, chasing a crown, and here is an older man on fire, it seems, green, chasing his crown down before he crashes into the sea. And flailing around in the sea of life here is an old man. The Lord of the forces of life. I get a lot of the planet Jupiter in this card for you this month. This is the planet of expansion, of good fortune, of increase, of happiness, and look, just flat out good luck we have here for you. So I think what we see here is new beginning, expansion, creativity, a big breakthrough, self-realization, some unexpected good fortune that is coming your way, good luck, a chance opportunity, winning, some ups and downs, the feeling that fate has a part to play in your life, a life that is changing around you. It's a definite yes, this card. It's a definite yes. What else might it mean for you in the context of these other cards that are sitting around it? Well, notice you've got this Ace of Coins up here, and you've got this Six of Coins down here as well, both of which are just outstanding. I think in this line which is running, and I'll get to them in just a moment. But I think this card is representing an unexpected change in your life which will be favorable, but which may not necessarily seem that way at first. Be ready to take on any unexpected opportunities. When times are good, stay centered because things can change. And if things are challenging for you at the moment, don't be discouraged because this energy is talking about things turning around and becoming better. Change is about to happen. You may need to alter your present course or change things around to set the stage for the right outcomes to come into your life. And remember, if you struggle against the wheel, then you can get tossed off and thrown into the water like this old man here and then bob around like a cork in the sea. I'd have these thoughts in mind, and they are. I am now ready for the miracle of my life. I am a prosperous individual. I am flexible in times of change. I enjoy manifesting internal abundance externally. Abundance which created me is what I am. Well, let's have a look at this, because this goes really well with that other card that's there. Let's have a look at some of the imagery. You know, I love this image just looking at it the way it is. Here we have well, I suppose you'd call it a child or a cherub holding up this really rather large coin. He's blindfolded with this red band wrapped around him and he's got blue wings. This large coin is letting go roots from it, and the roots contain crystals and rocks. And look down here, two sprouts have become apparent from the coin itself, from this living thing. And I love this depiction because this suit of Earth for me talks about life, about lifestyle, about everything which goes to make us happy, all in a box. And this is it. This is almost talking also about the golden age of gold, because here at the front you might see there is a casket full of gold coins. There appear to be a naked queen and a naked king frolicking together, eating grapes. Here is a child playing. Here is a young man playing a flute. There is an ox here and a lamb lying down together. 2 fruit trees. Underneath this, what I would take to be a golden calf, which has on top of it the headdress of the Egyptian goddess of Hathor. She was the goddess of love. Underneath them, there are 2 young people, naked, frolicking away. Really is. Oh, and I'm just looking through here. This crown of Hathor here pokes through, and it looks like there is a sacred mountain out in the distance. Well, what is it that we can say about it for you? It really speaks to me of the beginning of something tangible, prosperity and growth, material abundance, improving finances, a promotion or a pay rise, good luck, and unexpected money in some way. I think you'll have a deep well of grounded, practical, organizational ability during this time as well. Let's pull that out there. And I suspect that this is actually going to last for about another 12 months. I'd have a thought in mind, and it is this, that wealth is my natural condition. It allows me to express my spirituality and creative potential in this world. I am in harmony with the flow of nature. Now, it's not necessarily anything concrete at the moment, because aces haven't yet turned into a 2 or a 3 where things start to become tangible. But this is the seed of the suit, and it may well talk about a promotion or a new source of finance or a new beginning in your life, which is going to be really satisfying for you. Aces represent new beginnings and opportunities, and in the suit of Earth, this card relates to, well, work projects, your lifestyle, perhaps even new business. Look at the colors of nature and the depiction of nature in this card. It may well be the beginning of a new understanding of yourself from the observation of nature, its seasons and its content. It's also possible that a spiritual realization is in the offing, that we are all connected and everything is a part of everything else. Really the most fortunate of cards, and I'm so glad that you've got it in this month. Now let's have a look. Now a bit further down the suit, we have here the six of Earth. And what do we have here? What is it that we can glean from the imagery? Well, we have a person with a lance stoutly defending something, but look at what's going on inside these coins itself. Here is a miser standing over and just luxuriating over his box of gold. Here is the chariot of Saturn. Here is a fool who's a little bit despondent because he's lost all of his money. Here is a fool that's happy, dancing around because he's got money. This is a lily in the shape of a mandala. Now, a mandala is a symmetrical symbol used very often in Tibetan Buddhism to assist the person in meditation and in trying to touch the divinity. And here, in this coin, we have a wealthy man doling out money by way of scales, because I suppose that's what you would do back in the medieval and Renaissance times. You'd use scales to weigh gold or silver to work out its value, doling it out to a poorer man. Well, I have the moon ruling the second decan of Taurus here. The good news is that in ordinary astrology, the moon is exalted in Taurus, which is a good sign. This card is about success. It's about success. But the moon in Taurus, remember though, the moon is transient in nature, isn't it? It waxes, it becomes full, it wanes, and then it goes away. And if you think about it, success is something which is not a continuum. Success is something that you have here, or you have a success there, or you have a success there, or in each of them. It's not all the time. But the point is here is that you are going to be having success. I call this card actually the Lord of Material Success. Now, the moon in Taurus and the moon exalted in Taurus. Well, the moon likes nurturing and comfort, and Taurus likes material things, so they are well suited for bringing about material success. So I see success. I see generosity going both ways, both giving and receiving. I see you taking steps to pay it forward. When you have had some good fortune, you'll turn around and say, how can I bestow a favor or some good fortune on somebody else? It's quite possible that you'll receive a financial boost during this time. For those of you who are seeking a grant or a scholarship, I think that that is going to be successful during this period. And for those who may be trying to obtain something from the welfare system, I think that's going to turn out to be productive as well. It could also be the opportunity to be involved in a profitable adventure. But this is a reminder for you to remember the success in your life and to build on those. There is a desire for success, and the advice from Spirit is that you be willing to risk, that you be committed, that you trust your intuition. And I would say this to myself, my self-acceptance and self-confidence are the keys to real success. Yeah, really, really good. I wish I had something like that in this month. Now, who have we got left? Well, we have the Lord of Flame and Lightning, the King of the Spirits of Fire. It is, of course, the King of Wands. Now, let's have a look at him. Does he have anything interesting going on in his imagery? Well, a couple of things which may be interesting to you are this. First of all, he has a very stout throne, doesn't he? It seems to be made up of pickaxes and spades or shovels, very rough wood. There's some rushes that are put together here with a candle on top, a couple of horns there. He has a crown which is kind of embroidered in the shape of acorns at the top there, very wiry red hair and beard. He's pushing this wand down. He is the King of Wands. His armor is copper, and it is decorated with flames. And just behind this wand, I'm assuming that that is a goat's head, because you can kind of see the goat's horns sticking out. At the bottom, there is a Japanese lamp providing fire. There's a fire here where he's roasting 3 chestnuts, and here is a jug of beer. And isn't that a good thing to have, the jug of beer? Well, what can we say about him? I'll draw him out a bit so he stays in some sort of focus for you. Let's have a look. I'm getting a lot of Sagittarius in this. Sagittarius around you at the moment. Probably also Scorpio. I think Scorpio and Sagittarius are very significant signs that are around you during this period. Here is a person, I think, and of course these court cards can be both male and female, but this is a person who is full of activity, generosity, sometimes very impetuous, proud, very swift in what he does, but sometimes unpredictable in the action that he takes, and he can be very fierce. I think what this is saying for you, though, is that there could well be some very unusual circumstances, revolutionary qualities contained in events around you during this period. But you should remain cool, collected, resolute, and energetic. And be careful of the actions you take, nothing that is not well thought out, but go forward with an alert confidence in your ability. This is a man, I think, who is very much capable of getting into debauchery, I must say, or maybe has a history of being quite debauched. Maybe someone who's played the field a lot is what I'm getting around the person here. I think there's also a situation involved at the moment where you need to take decisive action. I think that what we can also see is that you will be finding your vitality. This is asking you to trust your gut instincts at the moment and to let your hair down and give yourself a pep talk. Believe in yourself that you can do it. Yeah, very much swift and strong action is needed and is going to be taken. And you do need a virtuous goal to concentrate on. I can also see journeys and traveling around here. Maybe even changes of state, changes of job, promotions, creative ideas being brought into action, and certainly having the courage of your convictions. Well, let's have a look at these playing cards, shall we, and see what they have to say for us. Here they are, and let's look at them one at a time, shall we? First, here is the Nine of Hearts. Now, this 9 means fulfillment. Something has finished or has been obtained. It can also be the wish card, you know, and I think what it means is that you may well have a wish that you want to see come into being, and I think it's going to be granted. It can sometimes signal the ending of a relationship, but not in a way which causes you any distress because of the color and the sacred number 9 that's around it. It's usually here it can be a signal to help others out if they need some help. And it's usually for deepening love, the perfect spouse, and the perfect child and children. When we look at it in the context of the Jack, that's here. Now, jacks are low in the court card, and they're so they can represent something that's young, usually a male, but it could be a female. It could be a friend or a family or a love interest. Because they are low in the court hierarchy, they can mean something that is fresh. Now, it can also mean an invitation to be received or a really pleasant message that's coming your way, or gifts which are to be received. It can mean the starting of a new relationship. And I have to say this, it can also represent someone that you are about to meet and to establish a new relationship with or a new friendship with, and it could develop into something which is romantic. What this can also mean, of course, is, and it's not well known, but it can mean a young admirer. So it may well be that you establish, well, it may be a platonic relationship, it may go further with a young admirer. You may become a cougar or something like that, and there it is. Then we have the 4. All hearts cards for you, all really good. Now, what this 4 represents is, the 4 is about stability, I've got to say, really good foundations. This is really the protector, this card. It's about foundation and stability, feeling protected and secure in love or marriage or family. It's also a strong indicator of commitment to marriage. And you should know that the foundation of love is strong. The foundation of love is strong. This card is a signifier of positive influences in all the areas of your life, and positive energy for a happy family and for a social life. Now, it's also it can represent someone who's been a little bit too picky as far as choosing a mate or somebody to get with, and it can also be an indicator for a marriage later in life. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go. March underway. Well, let me just say this, is that you were fantastic during that reading, and I really enjoyed providing it to you. I love providing these readings to you each month, and subscribe and become part of the family and belong. And let me just say this, and I want you to remember this always, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Until then, bye for now.